Greetings, my fellow gamers. It is I, Wraith King, bringing you news from beyond the mirror, from the other world. And today we're talking about Asura, a universal character that was just recently released on the global server. But if you're a fan of the Korean version of Seven Knights, you're quite familiar with her. And if you're a fan of Asura on the Korean version, I got good news for you. They didn't nerf her like they did poor Noho. Every time I think about that nerf, I feel really bad, because I like Noho. She was very useful before she got nerfed. But hey, that's okay. Let's just move on to the newer character, shall we? This universal character is a really good character, but at the same time, she does have a few skills that I kinda don't like. For example, her first ability, Spiritual Penance, inflicts 200% magical damage on one enemy, additionally directs all ally attacks on the target for 2 turns. Now, why is this a bad thing? Well, first of all, say you're in an arena and you're going up against a tank, and she uses that attack on that tank, which could be a Rudy or whatever. You don't really want to attack a tank now, do you? A tank has a lot of HP. Now, that's probably not the best skill in my book. But if it had piercing and debuff on it, then maybe it might be a little bit better. Her second ability, Spiritual Benediction, recovers all allies by 70% of magic attack. The effect will last for 2 turns. She seems to be more of a support character rather than a universal character, because her skills seem to focus more on support rather than dealing damage. I mean, she might be decent in Castle Rush, but the enemy bots that are alongside the knights in Castle Rush die off quite easily, so Spiritual Penance might prove useless quite quickly in Castle Rush after you defeat those enemies. So her first skill is like, nah, and her second skill is like, it's okay. I mean, I could use the heal, but I already have a Chris on my team, so that heal might prove a little useless. I mean, she is a universal character, so I can understand her heal being quite useful, but her first attack still has me down a little bit, because directing all attacks to one enemy, as I said before, can be a problem, because it's probably going to end up attacking whoever's in the front, so that probably would be a tank. And you're probably not going to want to attack the tank due to the high defense and HP. You would want to attack the people in the rear, because those are the people who are doing the high damage to you, not the tank. But sometimes the tank can do some high damage, and sometimes they do put their fighters in the front. But most of the time, the tank is, well, meant to be the tank, and the fighters are meant to be the fighters. And look at that, they did not change her animation. I'm really glad about that. They haven't really been changing too many animations for the characters. They have changed a few aspects to some of the characters' animations, and it doesn't look like they changed this one either. What I mean by that is, I guess some camera effects were changed for a few of the characters I've noticed, but not this one. This one doesn't seem to be changed at all. This character seems to be the same as they were in the Korean version. But it doesn't look like Asura's animations were changed at all, and I'm really happy about that. But last and certainly not least, let's take a look at the passive. Sagacious Vision, her passive ability, protects all allies from being paralyzed for 6 turns, additionally becomes immune to damage for 3 times. But let's talk about the paralyzed for 6 turns first. Paralyze isn't often used in Seven Knights, but when it is in play, most of us rely on Spike to protect us from status effects because he protects us from all status effects, paralyze included, and every other status effect like it. But Spike is a knight, and knights are awesome, so we're not going to try to compare a normal hero to a knight. But I only compared the two because, well, status effects like this aren't normally used, but there is an accessory that does apply stun to your character if you equip it. But not everyone has that accessory. And if you're thinking, but she can protect me from Aline, no, she can't. Aline electrifies enemies. She does not paralyze enemies. Though the animation of the status effect is similar in appearance, there are still both very different status effects, which means Asura's passive will not protect you from Aline's electrify. But regardless of that, paralyze is still used, but not commonly used. You might find a use for it somewhere. But anyways, Dark Sanctuary has finally been added to the game. This hero list contains some very powerful characters. You will see some more of them in the future when, not entirely sure, but we will expect some really cool characters out of that character. But my overall opinion on this character is she not exactly something I would use personally. but some of you might find a use for her. But me, I probably won't use her because I do own all the knights and I do use them quite frequently. And as cool as she is, I probably wouldn't be able to fit her on my team even if I wanted to. So I probably won't be adding her to my team anytime soon. But anyways, I hope they release the rest of the characters on the Dark Sanctuary list. They're all very interesting characters, and I already know who they are. But I know how people are about spoilers, and I know how I am about spoilers. I don't like them either. So I won't mention who they are in the video. But if you'd like to know, just ask me in the comments. I'll show you a pic of them. But anyways, that's all the time I got for this video, my fellow gamers. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Take it easy from me, alright? Bye.